All right, here's another example involving multiplication of polynomials. This time I have a much more complicated problem. Taking a trinomial and I am multiplying it by this binomial. And notice how these are grouped together here, and there's no sign in here. And remember, when there's no sign in there, it's assumed to be multiplication. The big idea here is that it's essentially the distributive property happening just on a much larger scale. So what I mean by that is, if I'm going to take this binomial, this 3b minus 4, and I'm going to multiply it by this b squared plus 6b minus 7, I need to realize that I'm going to be distributing this 3b, and I'm going to take 3b times b squared. I'm going to take 3b times positive 6b. I'm going to take 3b times negative 7. And also, I'm going to be distributing this negative 4. And I'm going to take negative 4 times positive b squared. I'm going to take negative 4 times positive 6b. I'm going to take negative 4 times negative 7. So that's a ton of multiplying there, 6 different little mini multiplication problems within just this one problem. And while we're working this through, you got to be careful with your signs, be careful with, when you're multiplying whole numbers versus when you're multiplying powers and adding the exponents with the variables. So, there's just lots of room for error here, so you have to be very, very careful. And to help with the multiplication, a very good idea would be to go back to that idea I told you about a little bit ago, where we kind of draw this rectangular grid idea. And all right, so there's my rectangle. So on one side of this thing, I'm going to put 3b minus 4. So that's that binomial right there. And along the top here, I'm going to put this trinomial. This is b squared times positive 6b times negative 7. And the really nice thing about doing it this way is that it's going to force you to make sure that you do each of these multiplications. So the first one, I said I need to take 3b and multiply it by b squared. Well, that's right here in this grid. 3b times b squared is just 3b cubed. B times b squared, add those exponents, b cubed. All right, now I need to take 3b times positive 6b. That's this part. So 3 times 6 is 18. B times b is b squared. I need to take 3b multiplied by negative 7. 3b times negative 7 would be negative 21b. So I've distributed the 3b and I've multiplied it by each of these three terms. Now to the negative 4. I need to distribute this negative 4 to each of these three terms. So I got negative 4 times positive b squared. It's going to give me negative 4b squared. And just be careful, you want to include this sign, this negative in front of the 4 as you do this multiplication. And you're going to want to take negative 4 times positive 6b. That's negative 24b. And negative 4 times negative 7 would be positive 28. Okay, we're not done. So as of right now, and here, let me just write this answer as one big long polynomial. This is 3b cubed. I'm just kind of copying this row up here, plus 18b squared minus 21b minus 4b squared minus 24b plus 28. All right, now using what we learned in the last lesson with adding polynomials, we can combine like terms. So now's the time to identify those like terms and put them together. So I have this 3b cubed here. Do I have any other b cubes in either of these two places? This is all the same information here, and the answer is no. So my final answer is going to include 3b cubed. When you write your answer, you always want to try to write it in standard form with your exponents decreasing from left to right. I have this positive 18b squared, and I have this negative 4b squared. Once again, include the signs. View this as positive 18, view this as negative 4. So positive 18b squared and negative 4b squared. When you put those together, that's going to give you positive 14b squared. Okay. Next, we have this negative 21b and this negative 24b. So those are like terms. Both of those have the same variable raised to the same power. If you put together or combine negative 24 and negative 21, that would be negative 45b. And last part here, we have this plus 28. There's no other numbers here. We can't combine that with anything. So plus 28. And we're done. Final answer, 3b cubed plus 14b squared minus 45b plus 28. Leading coefficient is 3. Degree of this polynomial is also 3 because that's your largest exponent.